don't know how to even
Maybe
start.
say hello.
Hi! We are Laura and Eve from Not Plant Based, and we've been asked to do a Q&A. So we're attempting to, we're talking to camera in Eve's kitchen.
It's weird.
It's a bit weird, but here we are. So, number one, how did you cope with gaining weight?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. I tried not to think about it too much, I guess, and also focus on other things in life that I knew were more important to me, like being happy and spending time with my friends and my family and the people I love, who love me whatever I look like and however big or small I am. And also I focused a lot on the fact that I knew that for my health, I'd been told by a whole host of specialist medical professionals that in order for my body to be happy, I needed to gain some weight. And even though that's quite a difficult thing to come to terms with when you're struggling with how you look and your relationship with your body and your relationship with food, it's quite an important thing to hold quite close to you, that you know that if your health is important, that you need to be the best you can be.
So how did I cope with gaining weight? I've always been really slim, really active. I remember being in school and desperately wanting hips, and although I had boobs, I'd never had hips.
Really?
So,
I had hips and I've had boobs.
So really, really stick thin, and then as I got older I filled out a tiny bit, but still was always really slim, and then I developed a problem with my eating, and eventually that turned into a problem with binge eating, which meant that I put on more weight than I probably should for my frame in terms of how I felt best. And I struggled with that because, not because of how I looked, because I still looked quite slim, but because I knew that the reason I was gaining weight was because I had an issue with binge eating. And I think it's important to think of why you're gaining weight. Is it because you need to gain weight and you're just desperately hungry, or is it because you use food as an emotional cushion? That's the word I went with.
I've got a really bad cold, by the way, so if I'm like doing that the whole time, then
yes,
I'm not like on drugs or anything. Apart from lemon.
Okay, number two. Have you ever tried any kind of mindfulness or meditation? I'll go. I tried meditating twice, and I thought that meditating was to be honest, I didn't really know what I was doing, so I was just sort of like staring at my wall, and it's like, is it 10 minutes yet? I don't know. Tried it, was just incredibly bored, and so I tried to seek other ways to deal with anxiety, and I found that one method, I find it to be like meditation, is running. I know lots of people hate it, but it's just something that seems to work for me, because whenever I run, the whole time I'm just thinking, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, and so that repetitive thought that's going through my head means I don't have to think about anything else.
I would recommend the Headspace app. It's a mindfulness app and it is very useful for some people, but it does take a lot of practice. You have to get into it and then keep doing it for it to be a kind of natural process in your own mind. It's literally just about being aware of your body and being in tune of your physical being, rather than all of the other stuff that's going on in your head. And that is quite a useful skill, to be able to do that in times when you can feel anxiety or worry building, which I get quite a lot. I get fixated on things and then start worrying about them.
Number three, what's been the most surprising thing since starting Not Plant Based?
It's been quite a few.
Yeah, I think the fact that anyone reads it is quite surprising.
Yeah, other than our mums.
Yeah.
I've been surprised at how much rubbish is out there and how much people don't know that it's rubbish.
Yeah, before we started, which was just in September of last year, I didn't know what a dietitian was. Number 4, what kind of exercise makes you happiest? We have really varying answers, so I'll go first. Whenever I was younger, the word exercise never really came into play. It was always just a hobby or an activity, and like just me and my friends would run laps around a field just for the sheer fun of it, which is nuts now when I think of it. But I think exercise is only something you think of when you're older, and with like the whole gym mentality and stuff. But I find that exercise for me now helps my anxiety, so I enjoy doing it for that reason. I enjoy running. I think that's running and swimming.
I'm quite pathetic when it comes to exercise. Like, I used to exercise, I used to go to the gym a lot, but then I got ill, and so I was going to the gym because I was obsessing a bit and I like wanted to be really thin, and that's why I was going to the gym. So now I'm a bit wary of it, and also because when I went I never enjoyed it really. I just went because I thought I should, so now that makes me not want to go.
Do you enjoy cooking? No. I'm not a very good cook, partly because I never cook.
I love cooking. Yeah, I really enjoy it. I always cook whenever I can. I'd always rather cook than not cook.
Was there one exact time where you could say, now I'm recovered? What I'm trying to say is, will this ever be over?
I remember thinking that exact thing. I remember thinking, before I went into hospital, spoiler, before I went into hospital, I remember thinking, I cannot imagine a time when I won't have this illness. I can't imagine a time when I won't be obsessing about food and I won't be thinking about it all the time. And it's so hard to explain when you're on the other side of it that like that is possible, because you can't see it, but it is.
It's kind of pointless being like striving for being fully recovered, because what is that? Like, no one really knows. So it's just working towards being your best self, feeling your best mentally, and then everything else sort of follows. Everything else slots into place. Can you recommend reliable, evidence-based sources of nutritional information? I hear not plant-based is good.
Someone told me that. What's important to bear in mind is, if you ever have any sort of dietary questions, the thing that makes sense to trust the most is what medical professionals will use to treat their patients, especially on the NHS. So if you go to the BDA, which is the British Dietetic Association, most of the dietitians who are employed by the NHS to make people better come from the BDA or are supported by the BDA.
Last question. What would your last supper be?
Oh, this is the hardest question.
I know, we've been through this so many times.
Yeah, we have. I change my mind all the time. You go first.
Right now, we were talking about spaghetti bolognese earlier, and now I've got that in my head. It would be a giant mountain of spaghetti bolognese made by my dad.
We have such different.
I know, we do. Loads of cheese, all mixed together with a bit of like garlic bread. I'd have a few desserts.
Like a buffet.
I'd have a platter. I'd have cheesecake.
Cheesecake. What flavour?
Vanilla cheesecake, I think. I'd have some sort of chocolate melt in the middle thing. A bit of ice cream, a bit of custard.
Oh, I would have. Okay, I'd have chicken shawarma in a really good Greek pita. Like, you know, like those really good ones that you only get in Greek kebab shops.
Yes.
They're like really fluffy. I'd have that with like loads of really good creamy hummus and salad in a pita with a pickled cucumber. With a pickled cucumber. Call me disgusting, I don't care. I'd have some baba ganoush on the side, like, so I could like dip that into that, and maybe like a bit of guacamole as well. For pudding, God, yeah, okay, I would definitely have, you know, like one of those cake trolleys.
Yeah.
I just want the cake trolley. If you have any dietary specific questions or anything you want to ask, please send them to us or comment or tweet us, and we'll get the experts to give you their professional advice.
And we'll link below some useful articles that relate to the video. So yeah, thank you, bye!